Hello, I'm Justin Porter, the atheist and XJW, and I was just watching a YouTube video on a channel called I Think Biblically, and this is an Australian YouTuber, and this Australian YouTuber, I won't mention his name, but the channel's called I Think Biblically. He was saying that the title of his video was Why Pope Francis is Probably in Hell. Why Pope Francis is probably burning in hell because he taught false doctrine. So this guy, this Australian YouTuber on his channel, I Think Biblically, he's saying Pope Francis is probably burning in hell right now because of Mother Mary worship, worshipping saints and statues and everything. And as an atheist, I just find that so repulsive that they're teaching people things like hellfire, teaching children things like hellfire, and it's such a traumatic religious experience to be taught that as a child, and to teach it's the ultimate carrot and stick. Believe in Jesus or burn in hell. Believe in Jesus and walk on streets paved with gold in heaven. And I remember years ago when I first met Nikki, it was about 30 years ago, I remember mowing lawns. The guy I used to mow lawns with, I was a Jehovah's Witness. And this guy I used to mow lawns for, he was my boss. He owned a lawn mowing business, and he was a born-again Christian. And he used to say to me, do you know, Justin, it's sad that you're going to burn in hell. You don't believe in hell. And the place that you don't believe in, hell, because Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in hell, he says that's the place you're going to burn. And he'd go up to me and smell me. I can smell the sulphur already, like fire and sulphur and brimstone. And I'd go round to his house for lunch and a cuppa, and his wife used to have goes at me because she was a born-again Christian and I was a Jehovah's Witness. And she said, well, if you don't believe in hell, it's in the Bible, you're going to go there when you die, and Jehovah's Witnesses are of the devil. And this guy, this YouTuber, he believes that the Pope Francis is burning in hell right now because he's a Catholic. So I told my beautiful wife Nicole, that we'll be spending an eternity with each other because you're going to go to a burning hell because you're Jehovah's Witness. I'm going to go to burning hell because I'm an atheist. And the Pope's going to be burning in hell with us, the Pope. And apparently Errol Flynn, the Australian actor who was born in 1909 and died in 1959, Errol Flynn, he's in hell, he's burning in hell, he's an atheist. Charlie Chaplin, born in 1889, and he died in 1977, he's an atheist. And Catherine Hepburn, born in 1907, and she died in 2003. She was an atheist. And Marilyn Monroe, born in 1926, and she died in 1962. She was an atheist. Jack Black, who was born in 1969, he was in the movie School of Rock. He's an atheist. So Nikki and I I'm going to go to a burning hell because I'm an atheist. My wife Nicole's going to go to a burning hell because she's a Jehovah's Witness, and the Pope's going to be in the burning hell along with Charlie Chaplin, Catherine Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, Mae West, who was born in 1893. She died in 1980. She was an atheist. Yeah, she was an atheist. Cary Grant, who was born in 1904 and died in 1986 at the age of 82. He was an atheist. So Nikki and I are going to spend eternity, we're going to spend eternity with each other, Nikki burning in hell, along with the Pope, along with all the Catholics, and it's just so silly. But check out this YouTube channel. It's called I Think Big Blickley, and the title of it is Why Pope Francis is Probably Burning in Hell, you know. And it's such a stupid carrot and stick teaching. And the problem I have with Christianity, my biggest problem I have with Christianity, is this idea of us and them, the saved and the unsaved. Yeah, the saved and the unsaved. Because I'm an atheist, I'm not saved by Jesus' blood. Now, I didn't ask to be born a sinner. I didn't eat the apple in the Garden of Eden, didn't ask to be born a sinner, and I didn't ask Jesus to die for me. Why couldn't God just forgive him? And I don't believe in Adam and Eve. I used to, when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I used to believe I was a born sinner in need of a saviour. Now as an atheist, I realise I'm born a pattern-seeking primate in need of a jolly good time. And some Christians seem to think that hell isn't really burning a hell. It's not fire, but it's eternal separation from God. That's what hell is, eternal separation from God. And to me as an atheist, that's beautiful. That would be heaven. An eternal separation from God, to me, would be heaven. Eternal separation from God, well, that's what I want. And it's just so silly. It's just so silly. And the crazy thing about the Roman Catholic Church is I believe that Christianity started in Rome by the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul wrote the book of Acts and Romans. The book of Romans was one of the first Bible books written in the 50s. The Gospels weren't written until the 80s. And Apostle Paul sees a heavenly vision of Jesus as a spirit, not as a flesh and blood man on earth. And he never even met Jesus. And the Apostle Paul, who wrote the book of Romans, didn't even know the apostles. He doesn't mention them. He doesn't mention them. And the crazy thing about it is, the crazy thing about it is that the Josephus, the Jewish historian, I reckon when the Romans caught him in 70 AD, they collaborated with the Roman Caesar, Titus Flavius, and they invented Christianity to control the masses. They invented Christianity to control the masses. And the Egyptians had a resurrection god Osiris. The Romans and the Persians had a resurrection god called Mithras. The Greek god Scalepus cured the sick and the blind and lepers. The Greek god Scalepus before Jesus. The Greek god Hermes walked on water before Jesus walked on water. The Greek god Helios wore a cloak of purple and had a crown of sunlight. And that was before Jesus. And the New Testament was written in Greek. And the Romans copied the Greek gods. The Romans copied the Greek gods. And not only that, the Romans, with the help of Josephus and the Apostle Paul, invented the Jesus character. Because when you read the Gospels are very pro-Roman. Jesus says, pay Caesar's things to Caesar, God's things to God. In other words, pay your taxes to Caesar. In the book of Romans, Romans chapter 13, the Apostle Paul says, be in subjection to the superior authorities who are placed there by God. Who was the superior authorities? It was Caesar and the Roman Empire. So Apostle Paul's basically saying the Roman Empire was put there by God, and it's God's minister for the bad and the good. So the Roman Empire is placed there by God. So obey the Roman Empire, love your enemies, the Romans. The enemy's hungry, feed him, the Romans. And when you think of Pontius Pilate, he didn't want to put Jesus to death. Pontius Pilate was the hero. Who were the villains? It was the Jewish religious leaders. So the Gospels are very anti-Jewish, but very pro-Roman. And the Romans wouldn't have executed Jesus as a blasphemer. If Jesus blasphemed, the Jewish religious leaders would have just stoned him to death, you know. So I don't believe in Christianity. I believe Christianity is a Roman invention. Jesus is a Roman invention, probably based on some character who the Romans executed. There probably was a Jesus, a false prophet, who said that he'd come back in the 1st century, because Jesus even said that this generation will by no means pass away until all these things come. And he said that he said to his apostles, you will not pass away before these things happen. So Jesus was supposed to come back in the 1st century. Jesus died, he's not coming back. So a lot of Christians have a go at me, oh, you know, don't throw out Jesus, like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Well, I threw out the bathwater and discovered there's no baby, you know. So I'm not against Christianity if it makes you happy. And some of my friends who are YouTubers can't leave Christianity because they're living in countries where atheism is really frowned upon. In Australia, we're pretty lucky. You can come out as an atheist in Australia because Australia's about the 8th most atheist country in the world. And Sweden is the 3rd most atheist country behind Japan number 2 and China number 1. And they have the least crime, least murders, least rapes. Countries like the United States that aren't even on the atheist list. United States is one of the most Christian countries on earth. It's got the most murders, most rapes, and, you know, so what's that say? And some of my friends who have YouTube channels cannot come out of the closet as an atheist, because if they come out of the closet as an atheist, they may lose their family, they may lose their wife, they may lose their job if they come out as an atheist. So in Australia, we're very lucky. Atheists and agnostics and skeptics are very lucky in Australia because we are a free-thinking country, you know, free thinking, you know. And look up the channel, the documentary called Caesar's Messiah, how the Roman Caesars, with the help of Josephus, the Jewish historian, created Jesus Christ as a control mechanism to unite the Roman Empire and to quell the aggression of the Messianic movement of the Jews. And so look up that documentary. It's called Caesar's Messiah. And that's all I basically wanted to say. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment. Bye then.